ever been in a relationship where you felt that something just isn't quite right, but you didn't get, to sort it out straight away, and now you're even starting to regret it? Well, on tonight's show, we're going to be discussing 10 wrong reasons to be with someone. Now, I think this is a very, very important topic, because how many couples out there are together but they're just not compatible and they don't have the strength to break up? But the thing is, it can ruin your life. But here to discuss this with me, we have some lovely guests tonight. We have the team from Love Talk, and that's the lovely Helena.
Hello.
And
Hi.
the charming James.
Thank you very much for the charm.
Charming indeed, charming indeed.
So you've been married for...
12 years.
I know you told me last time, but I'm not good at
Going
remembering stuff.
30 soon.
Okay, so 12 years, and you also do... Just tell us a bit about what you do first of all before I get over to Lisa over here.
Wanna talk?
Yeah.
The show?
We have a show on here on my channel as well, which is called Love Talk, which is a show just to help people in their relationships, even those who are not in relationships, to help them prepare themselves for relationships. We also have these seminars we hold weekly to help couples as well, and singles alike as well.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ever come across people that maybe have been in wrong relationships before and now they're feeling the effects?
A lot.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's why we invest in, information, and we also speak about ourselves, so that people can feel, they can see what a relationship is meant to be, although we are not perfect, but and we don't claim to be, but we try to prepare them for a future relationship, for marriage, for all this kind of serious commitment.
Right, so we're going to go through these 10 points, and you're going to give me lots of feedback on experiences that made people that you've spoken to, things like that. But first, let's go over to Lisa Marie, who's going to be covering the celeb stuff. Hello, Lisa.
Hello, Chrissy.
How are you, darling?
I'm doing good, thank you.
So what have you got for us today?
Well, there's so many celebrities who are in a situation that get together for the wrong reason. I mean, there's so many people I could have picked. For example, Katie Price. I mean, I think we don't really need to say a whole lot more than that. But we've got a few people like Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries. Now, if people don't know, I mean, you should know who Kim Kardashian is. I mean, she's on her own reality TV show and just about every gossip celebrity page that there is. She got married to the gentleman on the screen, Chris Humphries, and it was all shown on their reality show, the Kardashians. And before the wedding was actually shown on screen, they'd already broken up. They'd already been divorced. They were together about 72 days.
Wow.
I mean,
what a record.
The problem is, I mean, I can't...
For celebs,
I
anyway.
really am not that interested in the Kardashians at all. It's just like, whenever I've seen it, I just find it a bit crazy. But when I watch these videos, because we all I'd heard about how they've been together, broken up. So when I actually watched this wedding special, I was thinking, sorry, why are you two actually getting married again? I mean, for example, they were debating over whether or not she's going to take his last name. Not talking about where they were going to live, because I think she and her family live in California, and I think he was from like Montana or something like that. She didn't know that his dogs sleep in the same room, and she doesn't like that. And they were engaged at this time, and just the whole way that they kept talking, it was just crazy. I mean, it seems to be more about the wedding day and the 3 wedding dresses. Yes, 3 wedding dresses that she wore. And the hairstyle that changed everything with it.
Why would anyone wear 3 wedding dresses? Well, it's a bit obvious actually why they would wear 3 wedding dresses, because they want to show them off and look good in different dresses, I suppose.
But still,
it just doesn't...
and like if there was like a blingy diamond crucifix, it's just like, to me, it was like over the top. It's like, if you have the money and you can spend it and have a really nice wedding, that's fine. But some things were just extremely over the top, and it seemed more about the fixtures and fittings than the actual wedding itself, which is why it was no surprise that they broke up, and it's actually still going on, even though Kim Kardashian is in another relationship and is obviously pregnant by Kanye West. Her ex-partner, still her current husband, Chris Humphries, is actually contesting the divorce because he is trying to cite fraud on her part, saying that she only married him for the TV show.
Why do you think they got together in the first place then, Lisa?
I think...
publicity stunt, do you think?
Partly, but I think as well, I think she wants to find somebody. I really do. I think she's that kind of person who wants to find somebody. So this guy that kind of ticked all the boxes for her, is quite high profile, it apparently seemed like it would work on paper, but in reality, wasn't supposed to happen. Another example is like Britney Spears and Kevin Federline. I mean, at that time, she was on top of her game, world tours, #1s everywhere, you know, the princess of pop. And he was a backup dancer. And they didn't seem to have a lot in common at all. And his bad boy, bad dad reputation was quite well known. Instead of her steering well clear, she married him, had 2 children, which was swiftly followed by a bad breakup and a mental breakdown. So obviously it wasn't supposed to, you know, quite be that way. And maybe it's just a coincidence, but when he was with her, that was when he tried to launch a rap career, which subsequently bombed and didn't go anywhere, you know? I mean, maybe he tried before, you know, or maybe he thought that being married to Britney Spears might be able to get him up there. But Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher. I think it was blatantly obvious to everyone. It's like that age difference was on a whole other level. I mean, at the time they got together, I think Ashton Kutcher was about 2 years older than Demi Moore's oldest daughter, Ruma. And it's just like, how is he supposed to have a stepdad relationship with the daughter or the children? I can't see how it worked when he would almost be like an older brother. I mean, I think it was like 20 years age difference. It's just too extreme. And yes, they got married, they got together, but obviously in the long term it didn't work out. And now the person that he's with, another actress, Mila Kunis, is almost at his age. I think it's like a couple of years difference, and they seem pretty happy together. It did take her a while to get over it, and it was quite well publicised, Demi Moore's breakdown as well. And I've got another one, Amy Winehouse and Blake Fielder Civil. I mean, if there was any, you know, example that is more prolific than this one, I don't know. I mean, everyone from the outset, I remember when Amy Winehouse first came out on the scene, on the music scene, and she was, you know, had a normal average sized body, curvy girl, looked good, had good music, and then she kind of met Blake Fielder Civil. And it was a different Amy Winehouse that came out. The ridiculous tattoos, the drugs addiction. I mean, he was the one who actually introduced her to heroin and all the other hard drugs. And she couldn't stay away from him. And now, even though obviously we know Amy sadly passed away a couple of years ago, Blake Fielder Civil is currently in prison on burglary charges.
Oh, lovely. James, why do you think celebs get it so wrong?
I think I know, but I'll let him say.
I'll let you have your say in a minute.
I think with celebrities, the thing is, if you're not a celebrity and you're looking for a relationship, then you're looking for a relationship because you want to be with someone. If you're a celebrity, then that's not the only reason. There's many reasons you have to take into consideration. Is it good for your career? Is it good for, you know, for publicity? And if it's good for your career and it's good for publicity, but it's bad for you, and you go ahead, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a good relationship for you, but it won't do much for your career. She mentioned so many examples, and we have the example of, for example, Tom Hanks, very successful actor. What's the name of his wife? Probably nobody knows. She's very incognito, we could say, but she's so important in his life that he's a family guy and he has a good career. So probably marrying her didn't do much for his career in terms of publicity, but on the long run, it did a lot because it helped him to be stable.
You know, you wanted to say something as well,
It's
didn't you?
very similar. I think it's very much to do with
See,
business.
great minds think alike.
Indeed.
Sure, you're not just copying me.
Indeed. No, it's true. It's all about business most of the times. I don't want to judge them. I do believe that some of them genuinely are looking for happiness, because some of them are really miserable. You can tell through the music that they write, through the kind of thing that they do. But some of them, most of them, it's business.
See, I think it's not just the celebs that get it wrong, though, is it? Because everyday common people, they make the same mistakes, because a big problem is with many people is that they don't think. When they meet someone, they just get, you know, overtaken, overrun by all these emotions, and they feel happy, and they don't sort of take the time to really see if that person is right for them. They just get taken away by the feelings, by the heart. Oh, they feel this, or their heart pounds when they're with the person, and then they don't think, and they don't really take a good look at that person and see, well, are you actually good for me? Are you actually compatible?
Because something I really can't understand. She was talking about Demi Moore. I always get it wrong, these names, with a very, very young man. I mean, logically, why? What do you see in a child? Sorry, because she's a woman.
I think we're going to have a few callers tonight.
Call in.
Should I open the phone lines?
No, it's true. Come on, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my opinion, my personal opinion. I don't know if I'm right. I could be wrong. But for example, what is it going to do to your life? You've got kids already. You have a lot more maturity. You've been through a lot more things in life, and then, you know, you are asking for trouble, isn't it?
All right, so let's see if our viewers agree. If you want to give us a call to give your say on this topic, you can give us a call on 020 7686 6300. Join us after this break. We're going to be talking about the 10 wrong reasons to be with someone.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Right, are you ready, guys, for the 10 wrong reasons to be with someone? Now, that some of them are not as obvious as you might think, and people do stay in relationships for these very superficial reasons. But to illustrate the first 5 points, let's take a look at this video.
Building relationships can be hard work, especially if you're with the wrong person. There are many right reasons to be with someone. But for now, let's take a look at some of the wrong ones. He says all the right things at the right time.
You're beautiful, you know that. Our kids are going to be beautiful. Play your cards right, we'll be married this time next year. I can't wait. Next thing you know, we're moving in together. It's going to be amazing.
He does small things that makes you think he cares.
He just does really always putting me on guest list of things. Like if he's got an event, he's like, "Oh, come with me, babes. Let me put you on the guest list." And if he's gonna cook something, he'll say, "Why don't you bring some of your friends around?" He really gets on with my friends, and he's really nice to my family. And it's just to be honest with you, you couldn't really get anybody who showed that they cared more than he.
He's good in the bedroom department.
It's the passion that we have for each other. It's just it feels like it's meant to be when we kiss and when we make love. It's just different.
Yeah. But can you have a good conversation? That's the main thing.
Yeah, but I think the main connection is kissing and the passionate side of things.
Of course, but what about in the long run? You know, that's great and everything, but in the long run, you need to be able to have a good conversation. So do you know that you can?
Good looking.
Isn't he lovely? So good looking.
How tall is he?
I'll just about 5'6" or something.
Oh my god, is he a model?
Yeah, I think he's a model. He doesn't do modelling at the moment, but he's done loads before, and he sort of got bored of it because he's I don't know, he just he doesn't feel the need to go on about how good looking he is, but he's just so fit. I can't believe it.
Has he got a brother? Has he got a cousin?
I don't know. But he isn't. He just.
You do not want to be the only single one in your group of friends.
Oh, amazing.
So whenever you want to go.
Oh my god, you're amazing. I've got the best boyfriend in the world. Lizzie, what about you? Are you single still?
Yeah.
What about that guy you were seeing, Lewis?
No. Oh, I haven't been seeing anyone for a little while.
Oh, maybe that wasn't you.
Probably not.
All right, so let's go through each of those first five reasons, wrong reasons to be with someone. So just because this guy, let's turn it around as well, if this person says all the right things at the right time, you think this person is, I'm going to stay with this person, even though you've seen other things that aren't right with them. So like we saw in the video, oh, you're so beautiful. He just kind of knows how to get around you. And maybe actually even the person's being honest, but you can't just stay with someone because they say all the right things at the right time. It's not a foundation for a relationship, because to be honest, there's people that are very good actors. What do you think, guys?
And you have to think that men, they know all the right things to say. You know, you can be sure of that. That men, you know, they know what a woman likes to hear. They know that she likes to hear that she's beautiful, that she, you know, she lost weight, that
you know, even when it's not true.
Yeah. So the man knows what to say, and sometimes when a woman is either vulnerable or has been alone for a while, So it's easy to feel flattered when she hears those things. And that doesn't mean that he's being sincere and that he really means those things. Maybe he's just after one thing, which is her money.
Yeah.
You thought I was
One
going to say
thing or
something
two.
else.
One thing or two. Let's say one thing or two.
You probably thought I was going to say something else, but yeah.
What do you think, Helena?
Well, I agree with my husband.
Did you ever get sort of men trying to say things that you'd like to hear?
Of course.
Could you see right through them? I could. I could
Yes,
see right
yes,
through.
yes.
Sorry.
Because,
Some
come
men are
on.
so.
Especially
how
at
to do it.
college, you can, you know,
Yeah.
the guy yesterday he's with someone, and then the next day he's trying to sweet talk me. You know, like, come on, there are things that you have to.
But say if a person's already in a relationship with the person.
There's a difference between saying the right things and doing the right things, right? And sometimes, let's be honest, Chris, I mean, when we're talking about men, the guy may be very sincere, but sometimes he has trouble saying what he feels. So sometimes he may not say the right things, and sometimes she's upset about that. Well, he doesn't say enough that he loves me, blah, blah, blah. But maybe he does all the right things.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, so maybe he doesn't say all the right things, but you can work on that.
Yeah.
As long as he does the right things. But if he doesn't do any of the right things, but says all the right things, then you can't work on that. So it's better for that to be the
That
other way
is so
around.
true, because because sometimes I think some women don't appreciate what they have at home. Like you said, because they don't have certain characteristics, or he's not very eloquent with his words, and he's not romantic and things. They kind of let that cloud them, and they just bypass all the brilliant qualities about this guy, or the other way around, of course. And they just ruin a relationship because of silly things. But let's go to the second point. He does small things that make you think that he cares. Now, it's quite similar. So again, instead of sort of saying the right things, now he's starting to do little things. So maybe he's treated you like rubbish the whole day, and then all of a sudden turns up with a bunch of flowers and says, oh, you know, uses point one as well, says all the right things. But these small things, you know, you have to look at the bigger picture. You can't just look at isolated little things. Oh, today he cooked me dinner, but yesterday he beat me up. Things like that. You have to look at the whole picture. How is this person treating you on a daily basis? And, you know, you can judge from there. Don't just sort of get clouded. Oh, because sometimes I've even had someone say to me that she stayed in a wrong relationship for like 15 years. And she said to me, I stay because 20% of the time it's good. What about the other 80%? You can have 100%.
I think
Why
that
settle for less?
I think that the person has to ask, why is he treating me like this if most of the time he doesn't treat me good? It's about you using your
brain.
Yeah, I don't want to say an offensive word, and then my husband's going to say, it's a very strong word, my dear. No, you know what I mean? So, you know, you have to think for yourself.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you know, when you are in a relationship, it's very easy for you to get too involved and forget about things and forget to see things the way you know, in an intelligent way. So perhaps it's a good idea to ask yourself why, and then ask him, why do you do these things if most of the time you don't really care? You know, I think that person has to be sincere.
Let's whiz through the other 3 points because we're coming up to a break very soon. Another reason why some people, or let's talk about women here, some women stay with someone is because the guy's good in bed. Now, I know like sex is an extremely important part of a committed relationship, but at the end of the day, it's not everything, because again, okay, you have great sex maybe, but what about day to day? Are you talking? Are you communicating? You can't just stay with someone because they're good in bed, because you're not in bed the whole time, are you? Well, maybe in the initial stages of the relationship, but you're not in bed the whole time. What about the other time that you're supposed to be together? You're going to be miserable for all that time just because of the great sex.
Yeah, and let's just say, let's just clarify something here right now, Chris, that people don't get divorced because the sex was bad, right? The majority of people who get divorced or who break a relationship, it's not because of that. If you look at statistics, most people either get divorced because of financial problems, for example, because of family problems, because the family was interfering too much into the relationship. So very rarely, very, very rarely someone decides to go astray or to break up because of that. Now, if that's the case, then the sex part on its own is not enough to make a relationship work. It's important that if you're in a committed relationship, that part is active and is satisfying for both people in the relationship. But that is not enough. Actually, that's not why people usually break up.
That's such a, because it seems that sometimes people think that they have to have like a good part of relationship, they have to kind of skimp on something else. When you can have the whole package, that sometimes people don't understand that they can actually have the whole package. They can have, you know, great time in bed, they can have someone that loves them, that cares for them, that they can have everything, but it's like they don't feel like worthy in a sense to have, they don't think they can, which is really sad because you can. Another one, obvious one, you stay with someone just because they're good looking. Now, if you want to be bored to death with someone because, you know, it's not the only thing, that looks fade. And I think this one's a bit obvious, but there are people that stay with someone because they want to show off to their friends. I look at this guy that I'm with, he's so gorgeous.
Initially, that's what my wife wanted to do, but eventually we got to the most important part of the relationship. But certainly,
well, she's always going on about you, I have to say. Oh, he's the most handsome man in the world.
He is. I'm his #1 fan. He knows.
But
he's been modest.
Although looks fade, right? And when the looks department start to fade a little bit, you need to have a little bit more than that to make the relationship work.
And you know what? The person, she will get tired of it, or he will, because the person can be handsome. Well, the man can be super handsome, but when he opens his mouth, or when he does something, or when he, do you understand? No, he has no manners. I mean, you need more than looks. Come on.
It's true. And then number 5. This is a crucial one because so many people fall into this one. You don't want to be the only single one in your group of friends. That's not a reason to stay with someone. It's not a reason to build a relationship, because the thing is, you're with the wrong person. You're wasting time from finding the one that's actually going to make you happy. So don't worry. I know something must be hard being in a group when everyone is with someone and then they're saying, oh, when are you going to meet someone? I know it's difficult, but I think you're going to feel a lot worse if you're with someone that you don't really want to be with. Wouldn't you feel worse?
And the problem with this is you can have a boyfriend, you can find yourself a girlfriend. There's a lot of ways nowadays, online dating, all this kind of thing. But you have to think that every time you get yourself in a relationship, it's more luggage for you to carry later.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's one more scar on you. It's one more, you know, here and there for you to carry, one more trauma, one more this, one more that, because the person wasn't good for you. You just wanted a boyfriend.
People don't think of the future and how it actually affects them.
You have to think of these things. You deserve better, like you said earlier. You deserve better. You can have the whole package.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go to a quick break, and then afterwards we're going to discuss the final 5. I mean, there's loads of points actually, but we've just picked sort of the ones that we think maybe people don't think about very much because they think, oh, it's just something small, but they're not. So join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
So I'm still with the love advisors from the Love Talk team here, the Love Talk show rather.
Yes.
Right. And we're going to take a look at this second video to illustrate the other 5 points we want to talk about tonight.
Your friend set you up on a blind date, and now you feel like you owe it to them to keep dating him.
She said you worked in, you were a mechanic.
Yeah,
You're not, are you, though?
Well, I used to do it. I'd done it a few years ago.
There's a lot of things Julie said when she sort of set us up that it's not really true.
Yeah, kind of a few about you too, as well.
Oh,
they said you were like 5'10" and you're about 5'6".
Oh.
They said you was 24. Was you 24?
You are 30, or some other magic age, and feel like it's time to settle down.
He's a nice guy when you get to know him, you know.
All right, I'll give him another go. I mean, I need to get on with it because I'm reaching 30 and everyone else has passed me and got kids and married, so I really need to get on with it now. Yeah, I'm going to give him another go.
All right.
Thank you.
It's all right.
You do not think anyone else is interested.
I just feel like a loser, mate. You know, she didn't even really like me that much, and
She didn't hate you.
yeah, but she didn't like me though, did she? She was just talking about herself, and
That's what girls do, isn't it? You just gotta, you know, pretend like you're listening. So good.
no one else likes me.
Being with someone who is not quite right is better than being alone.
I understand what you're saying. You've got a point, but I mean, look at me and Sarah. We're not in love with each other. You know, we
She's
like
a
each
nice
other.
girl though, isn't she?
Yeah, she's cool, but you know, it's not. when we both first got together, you know, none of us thought it'd be forever, but it's alright, it works. It doesn't have to be love.
I suppose it's better to be with someone that's okay than better than being alone, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
He is not right, but I can change him.
I feel like the longer we're together, like he'll just sort of like stop. That side of him will just disappear. And like, I mean, also like because of his work, he is a bit annoying when he comes back and he's like been drinking like most nights. He has to do like a lot of after work stuff, and it is a bit annoying. But I think that the older he gets, he'll just like stop doing it. Like the more.
So, try to remember, it's good to tick all the boxes, but make sure that's not the only reason for the relationship.
Okay, so let's go through those points. So your friends set you up on a blind date, and now you feel like you owe it to them to keep dating them. Now, I've been through something a bit similar. Actually, I even considered marrying someone because he was my best friend's brother. Now, I felt, when my sister made me see the light about how stupid I was being, because I was also going through a very hard time in my life at that time. I was very depressed and I was just looking for any bit of happiness. So I felt actually really bad to tell my friend, look, don't set us up. I don't want to talk to him. I actually felt bad, and I was kind of thinking about it, maybe not just to go ahead and at least talk to him just because she wanted to set us up. So I can imagine, like on a blind date, people do feel bad. I was speaking to someone earlier actually before the show, I won't say who, and she was telling me that she stayed with someone for 3 years because she felt sorry for him.
Oh my God.
Are you speechless then?
I am. Do you know why? Because, you know, everyone deserves the truth. Oh, I know you don't want to hurt the person's feelings, but, you know, the person, you're just deceiving the person. I mean, I know your intentions are good. You don't want to make the person suffer, but you know. But then again, you're going to end the relationship anyway. So why wait? The longer you wait, the more painful.
And sometimes, Chris, it's better just to do it like removing a Band-Aid, right? Or a plaster. Just
that's the man's way to do it, isn't it?
No, but you know, the best honesty is always the best policy.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work, and you know, people are going to be upset, but they get over it. The problem is if you go ahead with it and you get married and you get into a serious relationship, then people really get hurt permanently.
Yeah.
They might be upset with you because it didn't work, but then don't worry.
Because the longer you leave it, the harder it will be for the person to recover. Because you already knew that you didn't like the person, so
it's a horrible situation, isn't it?
It is.
This one is a biggie. You're 30-something or 40-something or 50-something, or say whatever, and then you think that, you know, you have to be with this person because you're getting on a bit, according to you. Big mistake,
yes.
Right? Because you can't. Like I say to people that are in their 30s and above, you get together with someone just because you think you're getting older. Well, you are getting older, but you think you're old and you're past it. You're not going to find anyone. You're blocking yourself. You are preventing yourself from finding the person that is actually right for you. And what's going to happen? You're going to end up wasting time anyway. You're going to be with the person 5 years, maybe have children with the person. Then you've got baggage again. And then you've wasted those 5 years. You're going to break up anyway, probably. And you've wasted those 5 years, and you could have been with the one that was meant for you. And it's so frustrating.
And this has a lot to do with one of the points we spoke about earlier, that the person goes into a relationship because they don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
And the same thing can happen because the person doesn't want to break up a relationship that's not working because they're 30 or 40 or 50 and they're afraid what's going to happen. And I want to answer this by giving you an example. We had someone in our show some time ago, and the person said that she was in a marriage for, I think, 15 years or something. It didn't work. And when that marriage broke up, because she didn't know how to date, she took up running, right? So she started to run and she lost weight, she got healthy. And she was really enjoying that. She didn't even know that, she didn't even notice the time passing. And on one, I think, Sunday that she was going for a run, she met a friend, and that friend said, look, come to my house to have lunch.
I watched that show.
Watch that show.
Yeah,
and when she got there, I think a friend of that friend was there, and it just so happened that they got along really well, and I think they're married now for a while. And sometimes being alone, it could be the best thing that happens to you, because you're going to have so much time to invest in yourself and become a better person and take on a new interest, and that could be a great thing.
And know yourself better, know what you like, what you don't like, and, you know, mature, change things about yourself.
Because remember, even if you're 30, you're 40, there's someone else around the same
and
age that's
who
single.
said, who said, where is it written that if you are 30 or over, you are old to, you know, you're getting old or you can't get anyone? No, it's, you have to look at yourself. I always tell women that I advise this. You are special. There's no one like you. No one like you, so there's someone special also just for you.
I mean, I know there's an issue, we probably haven't got time to get into this now, but there is the issue of women worrying because they want to have children. But that's the whole, maybe we should cover that on the show one day when you come back, guys, because that's a big thing as well. And that's why people do rush into relationships, because they want to have babies, they want to have a family. But we'll talk about that another time when you're on. Okay, another reason that you stay with someone is because you think that no one else would be interested in you. And sometimes, you know what, this stems from the partner that you're with, because they know that they're treating you badly, that probably another person won't put up with that rubbish. They tell you and they feed to you every day, oh, you're ugly, you're like this, you're like that. No one else will ever love you. No one else will be with you. I'm the only one that will take you. And people believe this. And this works both ways, you know, it's not just with the women.
And the thing is, for example, if it's a lie that nobody will be interested to be with you, because everyone, I was actually talking to someone today about this, and everyone has that one thing about them that makes them different from everybody else. For example, you may have this quirky taste that you like something that almost nobody likes. And someone might have that taste as well, but they don't know who else has that taste. And when you meet that person, you say, wow, there's something here, right? So I don't think people need to be worried about that. If you are who you are, and you are unique, like Helena said, then there will be someone that will say, look, I'm looking for something, for someone like that, and that's going to work.
You know, most of these things that we're talking about today, they are very much linked to low self-esteem, to insecurities, to, oh, I don't believe in myself, because why would I deserve something better? Because this is all I have, this is all I got. You can get something better, of course you can.
You can.
You have to believe in that.
I agree. Let's go for the last 2 points very quickly, which I've lost. Being with someone who is not quite right is better than being alone. They can tick like a lot of the boxes, and it's not that, for example, you need to look for perfection. You're not going to find perfection in anyone, but there has to be some common ground. But you know when someone's not right for you. Didn't you know when you started, for example, going out together? Didn't you know that? Couldn't you see that you clicked and you fitted? But some people have like they just know there's something. Okay, we get along well, we have a laugh, but it's not right. There's something missing.
Chrissy, many people don't believe that there's something better out there. They think, no, this is all I could get. It's very much to do. It has very much to do with what we spoke previously, other points. The person, that's all she knows. She puts herself down many times. Maybe she says, oh, I don't deserve anything because my mom didn't marry right, my auntie, my whatever. So, you know, this is life. They believe in that. And this is something that they have to change.
I think, you know, sometimes people ask me, and I'm sure they ask you, how do you know if the person's the right one for you? You know. Okay, you do. Once we've gotten to know the person, you can't imagine yourself without that person.
Key thing that you just said, once you get to know the person, many people skip.
No, I'm not talking about love at first sight, because I don't really believe in that.
Skip that stage.
Yeah.
Do you understand? The getting to know the person, which is so important.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but I really believe, you know, I knew like my husband was the one for me, and you don't have any doubts about the person. But if you're having constant doubts and you're like, oh my God, I don't know, and you start to, that's a bad sign. There's something that's missing. Not necessarily that the person's bad. Maybe they're a nice person, but there's just something that you're not compatible in something, and you need to look out for things like that. We've got about a minute left. This is the last one, and this is a big one as well. I think we can probably do a whole show on this one. He's not right, but I can change him. You can't. You can't change people. They can change themselves, but you can't force someone to change because they're going to end up resenting you. What do you guys think?
And actually, if you try to change someone, both people are going to become frustrated, right? He's frustrated because you're trying to make him someone he's not, and you're frustrated because you're trying to change him and you can't. I mean, and what does happen and what has to happen in a relationship is that you both evolve together. So you're not changing, you are evolving, you're getting better. Not because you're trying to change him, but both of you are getting better, but not really changing each other.
Okay, guys, we've run out of time for this segment. Thank you so much for your participation. When's your show on?
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Every Tuesday on this channel?
Yes,
That's
and
right.
you can also, of course, watch us on YouTube.
Okay,
Love Talk Show.
lovely. Thank you very much.
My
And
pleasure.
again,
Thanks
they
for
are
having us.
resident love experts, so you'll be seeing more of them in the future. Thank you very much. We're going to go to a quick break, and afterwards we're going to be joined by Chris Brown with his usual self-development clinic and some very, very interesting points for us as well. So join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and now we've got our self-development clinic with Chris Brown. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chrissy. How are we doing?
I'm very well. Now, just before we get into the topic that you're going to speak
Sure.
about, now you've been married for how long?
It's been 4.5 years now.
Right.
Coming up 4.5 years. 4 and a bit, actually, yeah.
And would you agree with me when I said before that you know when someone's right for you and you also know when there's something not quite right?
Do you know something? When you said that, I was actually reflecting back, and in meeting my wife, I just knew. I just knew. I don't know what it was. I just knew. It wasn't just physical outside only. Just talking to her, I just knew straight away that we made a decision that we are going to be together.
Yeah.
You know, whereas before in my past life, having relationships, I'd say to anybody about to get married and think, if you've got that little inkling that thinks, well, why am I doing this? The fact that you're actually questioning it says a lot in itself. You know, you shouldn't be questioning it. But then sometimes it's not everybody's situation where you meet something like and you just know automatically.
Yeah,
keep
you
going
need to
through,
get to
trying to
know
find
them.
out. And you might go and ask a friend, like they're going to say, oh, what's it like and this, that, and the other. How did you know? But they're trying to find out, how did you know? Because they want to know for themselves. But I just knew. I just knew. And you know what? I've never regretted a day up to today.
Aw.
Every day.
That's so nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
it's
tell you.
important to make the right choices, isn't it?
It's
really?
very important
Not
to
just
make
in
the right
love,
choices.
but in all areas of your life.
Well, funny enough, let's talk about work as well. You've got to make the right choices. I can actually put it on par with the relationship, because I'll put a question to someone and say, do you know who you are? Now, you're talking about, do you know who you are? If you know who you are, then you know what's good for you. So you know what you want, right? Now let's talk about a career. Do you know what you really want at the end of the day? Do you know who you are? Do you know what your skills are, what your abilities are, what your talents are, that you can actually match with a job that's right for you? Because you could choose a job, or you could be with a person and it will just spiral down, 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 because you chose for the wrong reasons. You chose a career because of this person wanted it, or that person wanted it.
You to do
Oh,
that,
your
or-
parents wanted it, or circumstance, age, anything, you know, and you just...
Even
you know,
money. Sometimes people go into certain careers because of the money. But
Money.
I know many people that they're not earning as much, but they're doing something that they love and they're happier because of that.
Yeah, it's a lot better to do that. It's a lot healthier. I mean, you think of the amount of stress that you're going to go through going to work every day in a job you don't like, but you're being paid lots of money. There's a lot of people at the top who've crashed because of that at the end of the day. And you find they go away and do something completely different to anything like that. Something more simpler that's got a more relaxed pace, or something they can actually cope with. You know, now if you know what your skills are and you know what you're good at and you feel good at it naturally, it's your natural potential, you're bound to grow.
Yeah.
You're bound to excel in that field. So it's find out more about you and what actually matches with you overall. Now, there's another area as well which I wanted to talk about on that, which I'll touch on, is wants and needs. Wants and needs. Wants are the now and needs are the lifetime. Right, and sometimes we mix those up because wants are about our desires, and even that could match with relationship as well as job. We're talking about a want now. Let me put it this way. We'll go back to what he's talking about. You want because of the way someone looks, or because your life's pretty boring this time. This person likes to go out and do this, that, and the other. And then afterwards, what happens later on? You start realizing, well, that's not really what I want. I need certain needs in my life to carry me through to make me happy. So let's put it on the job sense as well. Wants and needs. Just back to what you said, want. The house, the car, the this, the that. And your family's suffering behind this all because they don't get to see you, or you're working all these hours and trying to achieve this thing when you haven't really worked what's the actual need within the family and what you've got to provide and what you're doing as a family unit to make this job work as well. Because the job isn't just about you. You take on the job, but it is not just about you. All right, you might be single and have a job, but even then you're planning for later on. I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway, at one
Most
point,
people are, aren't they?
yeah, they are at the end of the day. So you've got to separate your wants and your needs. Wants is the now, Needs is the lifetime. Where are you going? What are your goals? How do you see yourself down the line later on? What are the challenges you expect? If you've got the challenges coming away and you know what your need is, what your goal is, those challenges will just step aside. It won't seem so hard at the end of the day. So wants and needs is another very good point. You've got to work those two out before you actually start getting into it. Relationships too. I'll keep flipping back to them. Right, now the other one is about takers and givers. Takers and givers. Some people are takers and it's about what I receive, what I get, and it's all about me. And some people are givers, and it's funny because the more you give out, the more you're going to receive in one way or another. It could be
that's a universal law, isn't it?
That is a universal law. It just goes
no
around.
one gets anywhere by being selfish. They may get somewhere for a while, but then people are going to clock onto you, and you're not going to last in anything. People won't trust you. They won't want to do business with you. They won't want to be with you if it's a relationship. Right. Because no one likes a selfish person.
Exactly. That's all about me, 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 me. You know, always every time I say that word, all about me, it always reminds me of something. I'll tell you very quickly. As some time ago, I was in hospital and we had the curtains around. I was talking to my wife in there, and there was a nurse on the outside, and she was on the phone. And she was talking to someone, and she was talking on the phone, and I thought she was talking about me, and she said to this person, oh, da-da-da-da-da-da, and I got to know her quite well. So I said to her when she came, I said, was you talking about me? And she went, no, young Christopher, it's not all about you straight away. And I always remember that every time we say that, all about me, it's a standing joke. But that is it. It is not all about you at the end of the day, right? Takers and givers. Be a giver. Be a giver, even in your work as well. Be a giver, because you give that extra mile. You are bound. It's bound to come back to you in one way or another. You see, not seem, I shouldn't say. You be a more responsible person. You're actually interested in what you're actually doing. You're not doing it just for the money alone, or just to pay off this, just to pay off that. You're giving more to the field. You think about it, if you're the owner of the company and you've got this person working for you, this employee who gives that extra more, you're going to want to say, well, look, what can I do for you to make it better for you? So. Takers and givers. And in life as well, people who are takers, meet someone and say, oh, what do you do? Oh, how much do you earn? All this, that, and the other. It's about what can you get out of it? It's pretty poor, really, to be honest, you know, and they'll end up a loser at the end of the day. So forget that. Be a giver, not a taker, not a taker. Happy future. One we all want at the end of the day, right? So in having a happy future as well, we got to talk about letting go of baggage, letting go of the past as well. You know,
such an important point.
It is very important.
Every area of your life.
Yes, every area of life. Relationship, work, many situations. You think about this. Let's talk about it on the work side. Work. Been interviewed. And all I could talk about is the things that went wrong in that company before. What's that employer going to think straight away? Oh, well, what are you going to say about us in a little while as well? Yeah? Or you get in there and you start nagging about the company or this person and that and the other. You're actually doing damage to yourself at the end of the day. You know, it'll be short-lived. That career and that job will be short-lived. Another thing is just offloading baggage. You said it in every area. You was talking about relationships earlier on. You're with somebody you're about to embark with, and all you do is keep talking about your past relationship or talking about the baggage before and this, that, and the other. After a while, they may be attentive to you at first, but after a while, it's going to be a bit much for them as well. So you've got to leave the past in the past and move ahead. You embrace a new career. Grab it, both hands. Let go of the past. Just look ahead and go for it. Do as much as you can do. Forget that. Move on.
Okay.
Happy future.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again next Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have reached the end of the show, unfortunately. But bottom line, I think sometimes it's all these things boil down to one thing, and that's when people don't think. And I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it because I've seen so many, like friends, for example, and people whose lives have been ruined because they get taken away by emotions. They don't think much of themselves. They just don't believe that they can have anything better. So that's when the emotions kick in and make them think that they have to settle for less. So it's really, really important that you don't do things just for the sake of doing them. For example, you're not with someone just for the sake of being with someone, like for the points that we said, because you don't want to be alone and all the other reasons that we gave. There's no point, for example, in being in a career just for the sake of being in it if you don't like what you do. So just take some time for yourself and just think about what you want out of life. And if you're confused, if you've been through terrible things in the past, or maybe you've not had a good start in life and you're not sure how to, get started and how to make right decisions, then you can also email me. I'm going to put you in touch with people that can help you, because you know, my life was a complete mess before, and you had problems in the past as well, didn't you, Chris? Many sort of internal issues that you had as well.
Yes.
And sometimes we just need like a little point in the right direction by someone that's been through certain situations. So do email me. You can even speak to Chris as well. You can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. You know, this show, I always aim to help the viewers in some way because of things that I've been through in the past. And I really believe that anyone can change, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you think of yourself. I really believe anyone can change and anyone can be happy. So that's the bottom line, basically. I'm going to go now. We're going to be back on Wednesday with another topic which is shaping up for the summer. So we'll see you again. And if you want more information about the show or about any of the guests that you've seen here on the show, you can go to the website chrissybshow.tv. See you again next time. Bye-bye for now.
I don't want to go home on my own, you know. I don't want to go home on my own. Why should I?
I don't know.
I don't want to go home on my own.
Well, I'm sorry you don't appreciate it. I mean, it's nothing to do with me. It's none of my business.
I hope you drown. I'm being really rude and annoying, aren't I?
So have you been here before?
Usually when I come on dates.
Sure, in a second. Everything all right? So how long have you been on your diet for then?
About a week.
Right, okay. Doing well? Or are you doing well at the moment?
Doing well at calorie counting. Sorry, I've got the giggles. It's all right, we can cut to something.